Bruce Fenton is an entrepreneur and a writer and a speaker who is dedicated to bringing the gaps between cultures in the world. Additionally, Bruce is the co-founder and he's also with the Bitcoin Association. Bruce, there you go. Please welcome Bruce.
Thank you. I guess I could use either mic here, right? So, thank you very much. Thanks, Juan. I think this is really exciting times. I'll talk a little bit about kind of what I see this technology meaning in a bigger picture, kind of stepping back. What does Bitcoin really mean? And one thing that clicked for me in understanding, I guess I could use both mics here. Don't want to give you feedback, double feedback. The one thing that clicked for me in understanding Bitcoin was the realization that this is an invention. A lot of people think of it as kind of speculation. They get kind of caught up on this currency, which is really one application of the invention. It's the first application, the biggest, the one that gets the most press. But Bitcoin is a significant new invention and an idea that did not exist before that solves a problem that we've had for hundreds of years. And that is the need for trusted third parties, as Juan said. The implications of that are very, very significant. And this is the reason I think that there's so many people, thousands of people, who are becoming so dedicated to this, leaving jobs, dedicating themselves to this. I saw Mark Andreessen from Andreessen Horowitz speak a few weeks ago, and he said this is one of the most, it's the same thing many other people in the space have said, this is the most important innovation since the internet, if not even more so than the internet. And Andreessen, as you may know, is one of the most successful venture capitalists in the world. He kind of invented the World Wide Web as we know it through inventing the Netscape browser, which is a predecessor to Firefox and really all of the browsers that are out there. And he also was an early investor in things like Twitter and Facebook. So there's a lot of people like that who are getting behind this space. And so that was one thing that clicked when I realized that it was an invention and the invention does something new that hadn't been done before. Because if we think about it for a minute, if we say, kind of what is money and what is wealth transfer, we start to ask fundamental questions, the questions of why. Why do things work the way they do? So email, when email came along as a new technology, why couldn't I just simply email you $1,000? Why couldn't I just say, here's $1,000? Why not? I mean, you could receive an email, I could send it. Why couldn't I just write, here's $1,000 and send it to you? Think about it. Why not? Well, one, you'd have to know that for sure that I had it. You'd have to know for sure that it was there and have some record that you really got it. And then three, you'd have to have somebody who would accept that and make that $1,000 worth something, cash it in, or allow you to purchase something with it. So the first one, well, maybe you know me, you trust me. Say, oh, I know Bruce is good for it. So what? Doesn't matter. If I send you an email that says here's $1,000, you bring that to a bank or try and buy something, it's worthless. What Bitcoin does, it solves all three of those things. Because of this public ledger that we were talking about, you have a public ledger that is decentralized, and every transaction that has ever happened has occurred there. So to use the email example, or even going back in time to when money was created, we could have a ledger that says who owns what. If you had something that you trusted that was in, say, the town square, a big book that says here's what everyone has, that would be a ledger that would be public and decentralized in a way. Now, the reason that may not work is because what if somebody tampered with that book? Who controls it? These kind of questions. Well, Bitcoin solved that because this book, essentially, this ledger, is on millions of computers, and it's shared. And that's why when sometimes people get a little cautious when you say Bitcoin can't be hacked, they say, well, everything must be able to be hacked. Even if you're not a computer expert, you say, well, that just doesn't make sense to me. I don't trust that. I think everything must be able to be hacked. But the key is the fundamental nature of it, to have this public ledger where you have a list of every single thing. That's why it can't be hacked. It's not a matter of computing power. It's a matter of having a record that is public. So going back to that example, suppose we had made a list that said, here's what you own, here's the $1,000 for me, and you have it now. We put it on the list, everybody can see it. Well, that would solve one problem, but that wouldn't be good for money because one, it's not feasible to continually update that book, and two, there's privacy issues. You would want something that is tied to you, but not necessarily tied to your name. So Bitcoin solves that. It enables you to eliminate the need for a trusted third party. So you can have anything of value go from one party to another without an extra party that you would need in that email example, a bank or someone else to say, yes, this is good. And that is really, really significant. It changes the whole world. And I think in a way that the internet changed the world. Before that, the printing press and other major innovations